Let's Get Creative, exploring the mind of a musician, hosted by KV Banks. This show will take an inside look into how professional musicians approach music. This podcast will help gospel musicians unlock their hidden secrets of creating a signature sound through their instruments. It will also motivate musicians to achieve their greatest musical potential by yielding their gifts back to their Heavenly Father. So now, let's get creative.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy KV Banks, and I'm excited because you have just tuned into another episode of the Let's Get Creative podcast. This is the place where we explore the minds of gospel musicians by analyzing their unique approaches to creating music. I'm excited because of what we have in store for you today. Today we have an exclusive interview with a Kingdom Keys Nation Student of the Month. Oh, this is good. I'm so excited. And also, we are going to be getting into some music with our very special guest. Oh, we got a dope guest today. Our guest today is me. Yes, sir. I am the special guest today. No, it's just going to be you and I. Okay. And today we're going to have a special show because today I want to analyze a very classic gospel song. And it's not a new song. However, it is a classic and it is loaded with a lot of musical gems. It is In the Midst of It All by Yolanda Adams. And I want to talk specifically about the verse where it's just Yolanda and Kevin Bond, who's on the piano. Yolanda and Kevin, they're just having this conversation with each other. She's singing and he's playing, and there are so many great movements, so many chords. It's just a lot of things that he does in the introduction. And I want to not only just break it down, but I'm going to show you guys how you can actually use this in other areas of your playing. So this is going to be fun. I'm excited, but before we get into it, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to let somebody know to tune in with you, wherever you're listening from. If you're listening in, whether you listen on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, or wherever, go ahead and do me a favor. Text a link to somebody else. Find another musician. Tell them to tune in with you. If you're watching us on YouTube, and for those who want to see the chords, you can join us on the YouTube channel at Kingdom Keys Nation. Go ahead and follow us there. Share the link. Use the hashtag LGC the podcast. That's LGC the podcast. I'm excited. Let's go ahead and get into some great music. All right, family, so let's get into it. So this song is in the key of C major. Let's go over the C scale. So C is the 1, D is the 2, E is the 3, F is the 4, G is the 5, A is the 6, B is the 7, and then you're right back to your C. All right, and so what he's doing in that introduction, that first part, so that's really the intro. That's the setup to get us into the song. But let's look at what he's playing and how he's approaching this. So always remember this. We're always looking at what is the target chord. Where are we going? And right now we're going to this 6. That's the target right now. So what he's doing is he is walking to the 6 by way of diminished chords. Okay, so diminished chords, we know diminished chords are leading chords. So he's, a lot of times we've been used to taking, if we're going to a minor chord and looking at a half step lower. So a half step lower than this A minor, which is where we're going, a half step lower is this A flat. So seeing that we got an A flat diminished chord, what he did was instead of just starting on the A flat diminished and going to the A, he went down another whole step and played an F sharp diminished, leading to the A flat diminished, then the A diminished chord. Okay. Now, also let's look at the voicing of it, because the voicing of these chords are what really give it its life, because he's not just playing them straight up, or he's not just playing them just regularly. So he's expanding on these chords. So this in our left hand, we have these spread voicings. Now, the spread voicings do require a little bit of a stretch, but if we're looking at it from the term of a diminished chord, we know we had a diminished, we got an F sharp, an A, a C, and an E flat. In essence, what I'm doing is I'm taking the C out. Okay, and this A I am putting in an octave higher. So that's how we're looking at these spread voicings. Whenever you're looking to do a spread voicing, what you do, you generally have like your 1 and 5, and then you take the 3 and put it an octave higher. With the diminished chords, instead of doing 1, 3, 5, which technically this E flat is a 7 when you look at F sharp as the root, what I'm doing is I'm doing in essence 1, 5, 7. Keeping that, or I'm sorry, I'm taking that 5 out completely and then put the A up there. So I'm doing that spread voice. I'm doing the same thing on that A flat spread voicing as well. So I just took it up a half step, a whole step rather. Okay, the right hand is corresponding, and that's just, I played that D as like an inversion. Okay. What you can do to kind of open this chord up a little bit on this, because I'm playing this right hand, the inversion as a C, E flat, F sharp, and A. So what I'm doing there is I can take this F sharp actually out. So it's almost kind of like a drop 2 type of thing, because I have this F sharp in the bass. So you can do that. Okay. So let's talk about that part right there. So now this here, we go to this dominant chord, this D7, D, F sharp, and C. Okay, and with that E up top, he goes. It becomes a D7-9 because of the E. Okay. Now, reason why this dominant chord works so well, I want you guys to keep this in mind, that we love to play dominant chords when we are looking at our target chord. Remember, that's what's important. Looking at the target chord, and I know where I'm going. And since I know where I'm going to the G. That's the next chord after this. So after I get to this D, I'm headed to a G major chord. So since I'm headed to a G major chord, I'm going to look at what is a 5th from G. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that D is a 5th from G. And so what I can do is I can play a dominant chord over that D to resolve me to my G. Okay. So. Okay. Now really, I can play this here, which as you see is another dominant chord, and that's because of what my next target is. My next target is really to get to this C. So that's the same concept. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. G is a fifth from C. So I'm literally playing dominant chords, getting me around to that C. Okay. So, sorry. Now, instead of just going to the C and ending like that, what he actually did, he started to walk up. I like that voicing better. And what makes this so beautiful is because we're playing a traditional song, but we're adding in these contemporary chords. So you have these suspended chords. We hear these a lot in modern gospel sounds. You know, I got a C sus4 in the right hand, a D sus4 in the right hand. How you voice in the left hand, it's kind of, you can have some freedom and some flexibility in there. I got an A and G in the left hand. I can either play in the middle, that's E, to give it this type of sound, or play in F. So it kind of makes it now an F major add 2. Okay. These are those CCM chords. Okay. Like if I was, how great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? Oh, we'll see how great is our God. Right, so you see how I put it right there? Something like that. That's nice. You do something like that. Just all about playing around with these suspended chords, and which I actually did something like this in another part of the song, but we'll get there in a minute. Okay, so far. Now, here's what's interesting. It's because we technically should be landing on the C right now. Okay, but instead what he did was sprung back to the G. So we go, okay, or F's kind of pulling a different direction. But in essence, what he did here is like a 2, 5, 1. I think the F works. I think the F still works here. So I did an A minor 7. Okay, A, E, and G in the left hand. And I'm playing a C major chord in the right hand. And then I did another dominant chord. Okay, this is just voiced a little differently. A dominant chord over that D again, because the G is the target and this D is a fifth from G. So I have in my left hand, I'm doing a D, F sharp, B, but my right hand I got a C, which that's what gives you your dominant 7 sound. Okay, but I got this B in there, an E, and A flat, and a C. So this creates a D9 13 sharp 11. Woo! I got a video coming up on the channel talking about extended voicings and things like that. So how to really understand these chord names and all that good stuff. So if you're not following and subscribe to the YouTube channel, definitely make sure you go on over and do so you catch that video when it comes out. Okay. So let's do that again. What do we have? We said, okay. I kind of like the sound of this F here, even though it makes it, technically it says a D minor 911 over G. It sounds great to me. I like it. And what I'm doing in my left hand is a G, B, and F, which creates the dominant sound over that G, with a C major chord in the right hand. That's what I'm playing. If you don't want that sound, you can take this F and move it down to like an E. So now you have a C major over G. Add 2. Do something like that. Okay. Play around with the voicing, but me personally, I like the sound. It sounds great. Okay, so that's the entire introduction. Then we get into the song. So now we do 2, 5, 1 to get to the C. Okay, got a D minor 9. Okay, face in the right hand, F-A-C-E. And D, A, and C in the left hand. I've come through. Notice over the 5, I played another dominant chord, but this is my favorite chord. This is one of my favorite chords. This G7 flat 9. Okay, 7 flat 9 chords. We talk about this quite a bit on the channel. Okay, F, A flat, B, and D in the right hand, and a G in the left hand. Or you can play G and D in the left hand. That's fine. So, and actually, I'm following the melody. So I've come through. So the E in that D minor chord. I've come. So I voice with that F up top. Then through. Okay. And what I land here is on a C major 913. So I'm playing a lot of notes here, but I'm cheating a little bit. So in the left hand, I got the C, G, and I got a D and E, but I'm smashing them down with my thumb. Okay. If you don't have the stretch, the C's will be sufficient. Okay. But because I'm doing it in the right hand, it's like a, what do I do? I'm sorry. Oh yeah, no, see that's the chord I did. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing in my right hand G and A. I'm smashing that down with my thumb. I got a B, a D, and a G. Okay, that's what creates the C major 913. A really big, beautiful voicing. Okay. As I say, if you don't have that stretch, on that left hand, you can play octaves. Like that would still work. Okay, so I've come through. There's that 7 flat 9 chord again. Why is this placed here? The goal is to get to the D minor chord. That's the goal. So we're going to this D minor chord. Okay, he has some very creative ways of getting to these chords, these movements here. Okay, so he said, I've come through, many I try. Okay, that's the goal. So what he did was the same thing from D, a fifth from D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is an A. So we did an A7 flat 9. And because we like using, I was actually about to say something that's not even entirely true. I was going to say I like to use these going towards minor chords because it's a diminished chord within it. However, we can use this to go to a major or a minor chord. So it's not an absolute that we use a 7 flat 9 chord to go to a minor chord. That's not an absolute statement. So I don't want to make that. But we use this to get us to the D minor. Okay, this is the chord voicing that he used. Okay, so a D minor chord, F, A, D, and then he goes A flat, C, D, F. Okay, and I got a D and A, D and A. I have a D and an A in the left hand. All right, which creates this chord, D minor 7 sharp 11. Okay, so I've come through many hard trials. Okay. Now, the next goal is to get to this C major over G. So the 5 is the goal. Okay, from this D to the G, technically we're already a fifth from the G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're already on the 5 of G. So instead of trying to play a dominant chord, instead of doing something like that, which aesthetically doesn't really sound that good, what he did was he walked up to the G. Okay, so he said he used the diminished chords to walk up, and all he's doing is playing the inversion. Okay, that's a famous churchy movement right there, churchy pass. Or which he plays like that at another part as well. That's a movement I definitely want you to add and have in your vocabulary. Please, 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 please add that to your vocabulary, because as a gospel musician, you will play this movement countless number of times. Okay. Oh, sorry, Jesus. Let's look at some songs. Total Praise, same thing. If I was at C sharp, you are the source. That's the same movement. Yeah. Same movement. Another song, Center of My Joy. Jesus, you're the center of my joy. Jesus, you are the center. Right? Same movement. Same movement, just in a different key. Another Yolanda Adams song, The Ballad's Not Yours. Since we're talking about Yolanda Adams, same thing right there. Okay, same exact movement, just in a different key. Okay, so you will be playing this movement quite often. Okay, so get used to this chord. Okay. Okay, so so that's how he finessed it. So instead of just playing the diminished chord straight out, instead of just playing it just like that, he's utilizing inversions. This is, as a musician, as a gospel musician, it is important to be able to be flexible with your inversions, be able to play your inversions and figure out how many different ways can you play and approach a song. Okay, so utilize your inversions. Okay, so that's what he's doing here quite a bit in this song, using inversions to play around with getting to these chord placements. Okay, so come through many hard trials. Now we got this move here. Okay. Okay. Let's kind of break this down. Okay. This is really one big pass to get us to the 4. Okay. Okay. This is the equivalent of if we were to do something kind of like if I said something like that. Sorry. Something like that. I don't know. Trying to get to the 4. The goal is to get to the 4. So what we did, we have an A minor chord, but he spread it out. So it's extremely wide voicing. So it's open. As a keyboardist, okay, this is a challenge for, let's say, organists that are moving over to keyboard because as an organist, you're used to playing chords closer together, more clustered. But as a keyboardist, you want to be able to open up your voicings, open up these chords to get a bigger sound out of your chords. So what he did, he started on really like a G sus4, right? G, C, D, and A. But he took that C down and made a G major chord. But with this A, E, C, and this is another spread voicing in that left hand, it's still an A minor 9, A minor 9 11. It's the same chord if I had it clustered just like this. Okay. And then I could very well stay clustered here, go to a G minor 9 11. Okay. But that's all he's doing. He's going between these two chord voicings. But instead of playing them clustered, he has them spread out. Okay, he spreads them out. Okay, yeah, so this is the same thing I like doing a 6, 2, 5, 1, 4. That's what's happening here. So. Okay, so he just didn't do the passive 2 that we'll usually do. You may hear that kind of move. Type of move like that. You may have heard something like that. That's what I'm implying. Okay, so okay, it's a little lick. Okay. And we're going to a C7, which is a dominant chord, because C is a pass to get us to the F, which is the 4. Okay. That's the 5 of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I remember one episode we had Julian, and he talked about this, you know, using the 5 of your chord to try to get to a different spot. So, you know, check that episode out. That was a great episode that we had with Julian. But this concept is being magnified all throughout this song. You know what he's doing is like all of this, he's looking at the 5th of your target chord. So keep that in mind even as you're trying to come up with some new ideas, some new ways. You utilize that, play a dominant chord of 5th from the target chord that you're trying to get to. Okay, awesome. All right, so we have this will lick a B flat D F. It's like a B flat major 7, then D, E flat, E to a G. Okay, and that creates a C7. It's just a really nice lick. I just like it, and to make sure that it glides well between that E flat and E. That E flat and E, I played that with my first finger, so I just glide down. Yeah. It almost sound like the Entertainer. All right. So that's what we got. Now, he does the same thing. Remember before, instead of just going straight to the 4, which he could, he decides to walk it up with more of these CCM chords. Okay. Okay. You can play, that's a few different ways you can play this. I think I did something like this. Yeah, that's what I did. I think I did something like that in the demonstration. Yeah. But all I'm doing, I'm playing. Or yeah, like that. So I'm playing like a B flat major add 2 in the right hand, F, B flat, C, F, a D and B flat. Okay. I'm gonna want to give you the chords first. Now I'll show you the lick that I was doing in the middle. Then in the left hand, I got an E, C, G, C, D, G in the right hand. And then to the left, next chord, we get to the 4. I got this F and E, A, E, and then A again. Okay, but let me show you the lick that I was doing. So I did, when I was on that B flat, I took my B flat. I'm kind of doing like this movement in the middle of the chord. Took the B flat up to B. Okay. Then when I got to that 3, I took this going from C to D flat. And then when I got to the 4, on that E, I took that E down half steps down to D. So E, E flat, D. So that whole thing sounds like this. Okay. Okay. All right, so we got. I'm gonna do that one more time. I'm about to play the next part. Okay, so practice, you'll be able to speed it up and get that timing down. Now we got this next. Gotta remember what I did. Okay. Now, here's just another interesting way of playing these diminished chords yet again. Remember in the intro when we did this? Right? So we were trying to get to this A minor chord and we used the diminished chords leading up to that A minor to get us there. Remember that? Well, he's doing that same thing again because the goal again is this A minor. So we're back at that point, but instead of doing the same thing that we did in the introduction, what he did was he took those chords and he's now playing around with them. So we got this F sharp diminished 7, and then he plays the inversion of it, which technically becomes an A diminished 7. One thing I love about diminished 7 chords is that, you know, you take them, if you play them in a different inversion, the name changes, but it's really the same chord. It's just all about the what's on the bottom, that note that's on the bottom. I got another video coming up on the YouTube channel where I'm kind of talking about chord names and how to really name the chord and all of that with the extensions and stuff like that. I have another video that I have coming up on the channel where I'll be talking about that. So definitely lock in to make sure that you don't miss out on that video. But he's playing this. Right hand I have a C, E flat, an F sharp, and an A. Got the F sharp in the left hand. But then I take this and I play the inversion. So I take that C on the bottom of my right hand, put up on the top, and my left hand goes to an A. Okay. Okay. And then we go down a half step to the A flat diminished chord, because the A flat is the half step that leads us to the A minor. But what he does, instead of just playing, just playing the chord in block form, he does two things. One, he plays it as a drop 2 in essence. So he takes that second to highest note and drops it, and it's technically that's what's in the bass. That's how we got the F sharp at the bottom. Okay, so it's more open. Okay, so in right hand it's just C, E flat, and A. Still got the F sharp at the bottom. Play this again in the inversion. So that second to highest note would have been the A. The A is just in the bass now. And then right hand D, F, B, and the A flat is in the left hand. That's the first thing that he does. The second thing is that he rolls into them. That's another thing that you can do, that no matter how simple of a chord you're playing, if you just roll into the chord, it just adds extra life. It just fluffs up your chord. It's amazing by just simply rolling the chord. So I'm like, my left hand, I'm kind of like doing like a trio, getting up to the A. So that's what really took, gave this little movement that pushed over the edge that it needed. Was just by doing something that simple. And it's quick. So you got to practice that timing to make sure that you got it down. Okay? Cool. So we got that. So where we did that. Okay. Now I learned this from somewhere else. But this is really just a 7-3-6. So he's just okay. Here's a great tip. When you're playing, I teach my students this, that whenever we're looking at chord progressions and things to play, I always equate it to driving a car. So you leave your house in your car and you're going, wherever your next destination is, whether you're going to work, school, or whatever. Now, in your area, you know how to get there. You know what streets to take. You probably have a route that you most commonly take, your frequent route. However, that route that you take is not the only way to get to where you're trying to go. There's a long way of going. You could turn a 15-minute trip into an hour if you wanted to. It be 30 minutes. If you know a shortcut, you maybe cut that 15 minutes down to 12 minutes or maybe 10 minutes, depending on how much of a shortcut you hit. So think about like that, moving from one chord to the next. It can be as short or as long as you want it to be. All that I'm doing right here is still to get to this A minor chord. That's the goal. But he's stretching this whole movement out. So we're doing this diminished pass that could very well lead to the 6. And then he adds on top of this a 7-3-6 movement to get us there as well. So it's like he's just compounding all of these movements into one, and it seemed like he's doing so much, but really the goal is still the same. He's still trying to get to the same chord. That's what really makes it fun. That's what makes his playing the song so fun, is that he's exhausting all of the options that he has. Well, maybe not all of them. I don't know, what all he has in his vocabulary as a musician, or what all he could have done, which we can come up with other ideas of getting there as well. But in all of that time that he has, he's filling it up with movements. That's one of the biggest keys of when you say like gospel music. Within gospel, or especially traditional gospel, you hear a lot of traditional gospel musicians, they're playing all of these chords, and there's a lot of movements, a lot of fills and things like that, because in gospel it's like we're filling up that space with a lot of movements. We're filling up all those, those empty areas with chords and progressions. That kind of is what helps within the passion of gospel music, traditional gospel music, especially because it's a really emotional style of music. And so you feel it. And so it comes out in our interpretation within our chords. So all of the movements that you hear, it's just really our expression. All right. That's how we're feeling it. But you don't really hear that type of movement or hear those type of chord progressions in your traditional CCM movements, or CCM songs, for example. You see what I'm saying? So, a lot of times in those moments, because it's not necessarily I'm not going to say it's not as passionate, because there is a passion, but it's coming from a different place. It's coming from it being interpreted in a different way. So in a traditional gospel, it's more or less, from the inside, I'm kind of releasing myself. I am, I'm expressing my heart, my passion, my a lot of I'm going to say frustrations, but it really just derives from where it comes from. I don't want to go into this whole lecture. This is going to take the podcast into a different direction and open up a different discussion that I may do on another episode. Hey, we can probably have this conversation later on down the road. If you want to hear more about that, drop down in the comments or shoot us a message, and I'll go ahead and make plans to make this a part of the discussion for it. But within like CCM, there's a lot more open space. There's a lot more, it's not as much movement happening in the chords, and it's on purpose. There's a reason for that, but I'll get into that another time. So he's filling up a lot of these areas with chords and with movements, and they're being placed tastefully. He's not being so busy that he's pulling away from what Yolanda is doing. He's complimenting her in a very masterful way. Another musician I would love for you guys to go and take a close study at is the late Thomas Whitfield. Thomas Whitfield, in my opinion, was a master at playing with a soloist. You will listen to him playing on the piano behind, someone singing. He filled in the gap between when the singer stopped singing and when they began singing. But while they were singing, his chords were literally just following them, just with them, and he did all of his sweet stuff or anything outside of that, to kind of keep the song on the same level as the singer, not allowing the music to fall or the song to fall in those open spaces. He filled it up perfectly, and he played like it was like he like filled every gap. And then once the singer came back in, he falls back. So it's all right. That's another discussion, man. got me started, man. All right. What's going on, Kingdom Keys Nation? It's your boy KV Banks, and I'm excited because that I love to feature our Kingdom Keys Nation Student of the Month. This is the student who's been putting in that hard work, that's been diligent and has been following through, have been doing everything they're supposed to be doing. And I am excited to present this young lady as our new Student of the Month for the month of May. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Miss Lulu Nagi. How you doing? How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Now, she came in blazing. She's actually one of our newer students here at Kingdom Keys School of Music, and she has been doing a phenomenal job. Have you always been this interested in music? Like, what's caused you to have such a great thirst for music?
Well, singing, because I love singing.
Okay.
I don't really have a passion to like guitar and stuff, but I still like it.
Okay.
Like, I like singing and stuff, and dancing to music.
So you're a singer. So you like to really do more singing than just the playing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we can get a song. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? I mean, we would like to hear something. We ain't got to do it now. Maybe at the end, huh? Maybe at the end?
I don't think so. Because I don't know why, but, like, I'm nervous either on, like, camera or in front of people. Like, really nervous. Only, like, at home, I'll just sing it. But not in front of people,
Well, one thing I know is there's nothing to be nervous. And generally, the people that are really nervous are the ones that can really sing. Like, they just got this beautiful voice. And they just open up their and just bless everybody, But we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Maybe one of these times we'll get a song from you one day. But
Okay.
one of the things that I'm excited about is because in order to become Student of the Month, you have to really be practicing your stuff. So what has kept you motivated to make sure that you're practicing your piano and playing the chords and things that we're doing?
You mean in class or like when we're off of class?
Yeah, when we're out of class, because that's what got you to become student of the month, with you practicing on your own, and you're playing and you're logging in your practice. So what has kept you motivated to do that?
I don't know. Honestly, I really wanted to become student of the month, so that's what got me to practice. And my mom.
Okay.
Yeah, so that kind of got me motivated and stuff.
Gotcha. All right. So, I mean, those are good motivators, because, hey, I want to be student of the month too. I mean, if I wasn't running it, I would definitely be student of the month. I would be winning over everybody. But, okay, so let's take a break from the music part. So let's actually talk about just Lulu as a person. So what are some of the things that Lulu likes to do when she's not playing her piano or singing?
Oh, dang, I was about to say singing. Talk to friends.
Okay.
So, I love going places. Like, I can't stay at home very much. So, like, I always ask my mom, are we going anywhere or stuff like that? And I like to go to family's house, hang out with my cousins, because I don't really see them a lot.
Okay.
And yeah, it's mostly, and I like watching and relaxing.
Like relaxing as well? You saying watching?
Yes,
Like
watching
TV?
and relaxing. Yeah.
Okay, what type of things do you like watching on TV?
Funny shows like kids shows and stuff like Nikki. I was just watching Nikki, Ricky, Dicky, and Dawn. It just came out on Netflix.
Okay. Nikki,
But it's been out, like, I think they said they started like 2018.
Okay.
But it came out again on Netflix.
Gotcha.
And I wanted to start watching it again because I haven't watched it in a very long time.
So what is the name of the show?
Nikki, Ricky, Dicky, Dawn. They're quadruplets.
Okay. Nikki, Ricky, Dicky, and Dawn? Always, the fourth one's always got to be a different name.
Yeah, that's what they are doing.
Okay, so what is the show about?
4 kids.
Okay.
The mom and dad had 4 kids. They're quadruplets, yeah. So, yeah, and they just do things like, quadruplets, they be messing up things, So, yeah, I mean, that's mostly. And I also like watching Liv and Maddie. They're twins. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard of that show as well. That one I've heard about. I have heard about that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So listen, I'm excited. So there are some other students that are listening from the school, and they're inspired, and they're like, I want to become student of the month one of these times. So what would you say to somebody else about, encouraging them to make sure that they're practicing as well? What would you say?
I don't know. Probably. So, like, you're talking about motivating them.
Yeah. So because there's some other people, they're like, I want to practice. I don't know if I should. I don't know if I can, or things like that, or making sure they log into their portal as well. So, or even there's some people who are listening that they may not even be a student, but they want to also practice themselves. So, but they may be struggling a little bit, So what would you say to them to help motivate them to make sure that they're practicing their piano also?
I mean, I'm like the same person too. I don't, sometimes I want to practice, but like I don't at the same time. So like, my mom always tells me, make sure you practice, and it is fun. I like doing it. It's fun to practice and things, but and sometimes it's hard for me. But the more you practice, the more you'll know how to do things.
Yes.
And if you're ever confused, try. And when you get on your class, like I'm confused sometimes, but I try harder to get it. And then when we're together, like we're in a class, questions, you ask those questions.
Good.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. That was really good. That was excellent. I gotta give it up for you on that one. That was a good answer. I gotta give it up. That was an excellent answer to keep trying. And the more you try, then the more you'll get it. You'll be able to figure it out. I love it. Lulu, congratulations again on being Student of the Month. And you got this because of your hard work, your dedication, and I'm looking to seeing what you got coming up next, all right?
All right.
All right, we out of here. Fist bump. All righty. I'll see you next time, Lulu.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
The preceding program has been paid for and sponsored by Kingdom Keys School of Music.